can't believe I have to say this, but my father actually values money more than he loves me. Growing up, I was a real daddy's girl. I loved hanging out with him, and he'd take me to so many fun trips. We had a great relationship. He works as a software engineer and knows a lot about computers, so he spends a lot of time online. He is also an amateur photographer, or so I thought. It turned out that the reason why he was always taking pictures of me was not as innocent as I believed. Dad would take me to the zoo, the park, or any other fun location and ask me to pose for pictures. Of course, I did as he asked me, and it was always so much fun. I loved seeing how the pictures turned out, and we'd have a great time browsing through them later on. Dad always told me that I grew up so fast, and he wanted to be able to have memories of when I was younger. It was so sweet, and I really did believe him. Why would a daughter doubt her dad has her best interests at heart? No matter where we went, he would always take pictures of me. Not just one or two, but dozens. He kept asking me to pose on different parts of the park or the zoo or anywhere else we were visiting. As I grew up, he even began buying me the most beautiful outfits. I thanked him so much and was happy to have new clothes almost every single week. So when he asked me to take new pictures, you can imagine that I was quick to comply. After all, he spoiled me with so many gifts, and I loved seeing him happy. Once in a while, I would sit in the living room and open one of my dad's many old photo albums. There were so many of those, and I loved checking out how I looked back when I was a kid, especially after I became a teenager. I had so many fond memories of those times, and Dad would sometimes sit with me and we'd reminisce on our adventures. I have to admit that by the time I turned 17, I began finding my dad's insistence of taking pictures of me all the time kind of weird. Sure, it was cute and fun when I was little, but now I was almost an adult, and he wanted to take pictures of me constantly. I was hesitant to confront him about it, since it made him so happy, and I loved my dad, but it was kind of awkward, honestly. In the end, I decided to just go with the flow and told myself that Dad was a bit quirky. That was it. It turned out Dad wasn't just fond of photography, he was using me for money, and I never knew about it. When I turned 19, I decided to Google myself. It was something everyone I knew was doing, and I thought it would be funny to see what I could find about myself online. I wasn't sure what I'd bump into, but I certainly never expected to discover a whole website dedicated to pictures of me. I completely freaked out. The more I saw, the worse it got. It wasn't just one picture or two, but hundreds, perhaps even thousands. And the worst part was, most of them I had never posted online. That meant that someone had found the original pictures and uploaded them without my permission. There were even calendars being sold on that website, and people bought a whole lot of them. The more I looked at the pictures, the more I began to recognize when they were taken. There was only one person who had access to that astonishing number of my pictures: my dad. Of course, I figured out that Dad would never do this to me, so I thought someone might have hacked his accounts. I began to search online, and after hours of investigating, the results left me feeling horrified. My dad was the owner of the page, so there wasn't any doubt that he was the one behind all this mess. I was, of course, incredibly mad. Wouldn't you be furious as well? I felt betrayed and used. I had trusted my dad and posed for all those pictures, and he was selling those online behind my back. Immediately, I confronted my father, and he looked at me as if I was being irrational. He explained that he didn't need permission to post those pics since he was my dad and I was a minor in most of them. I demanded he remove all the photos and was shocked when he refused. I was completely livid. I told him I could never trust him again. He only seemed worried about the pictures. He actually offered to give me money in exchange for the rights of every single picture he took of me in the past. Dad even wanted me to keep posing for new photos. Of course, I immediately refused and stomped away. I haven't spoken to my father since, and I'm not sure I consider him my dad any longer. He is just a manipulator who used his own daughter to earn money, and he didn't even use this income for my education since I took out a student loan in order to go to college. This happened months ago. I haven't called my dad or even visited yet, and I don't think I ever will. I'm too disappointed in him, and I don't think there is any way I'll ever forgive him. What do you think? Would you be mad if your mom or dad did something like this to you? Let us know in the comments. Thanks